Hello, it's Matt and Josh. We're here again to talk about news of the week. Josh is still eating cereal. Lucky Charms? Corn Pops?
Noodles.
Noodles. Oh, I thought you were eating cereal.
Good stuff.
What kind of noodles?
I forget the flavor already.
You can't tell the flavor when it's in your mouth?
I think it's like peppercorn or something.
Peppercorn?
I can't remember. It's
Yikes.
it's obviously Asian noodles.
Yeah, so not really a whole lot to talk about this week. Kind of.
You know what? Might as well just stop the show now.
It's kind of a slow news day.
Yeah, nothing going on.
There really wasn't until noon today. There wasn't a whole lot in the list I had.
And then all of a sudden,
Yeah. So thanks everyone for checking out the stream. We're here every Tuesday at 9:30. We're presented by usellcomics.com. You can buy, sell, trade, Omni Slabs, comics, everything related to comics.
all the comic stuff.
We have 3 different tiers: low cost, 5% commission, $6 a month. Oh, Sammy's here. Hey, Sammy. Run your auctions for $59 a month, no commission. $6 a month, no commission for bin listings, or 5% for bin listings. It's up to you. Okay, so I guess we'll do this first, the DC stuff.
Should we, or should we save it as a tantalizing morsel?
No, I already put it in the beginning because there's not a lot of stuff to talk about, anyways. Other than this,
right.
Okay, so as we know, James Gunn and Peter Safran had taken over DC properties for Warner Brothers, introducing the new universe as DCU. We know Henry Cavill wasn't coming back. Earlier in the week, Titans and Doom Patrol was canceled, which we have a story about that later.
Sadness.
So at noon today, the DCU Phase 1 or Slate 1 or Part 1, Chapter 1, whatever, got released. It's called Gods and Monsters, much like Marvel did with their Infinity Saga, Multiverse Saga. I guess this one's called Gods and Monsters. So we got...
How do you feel about the title?
It's fine. I like it.
Okay. I like it too.
So here are the properties announced. Some of them have release dates, some of them don't. Creature Commandos. F Gun, you better not mess it up. I don't think you will. But so a 7-episode animated show in which Amanda Waller creates a Black Ops team of monstrous prisoners. Gunn wrote all the episodes of the first season. I wonder if this will include so in DC there is Frankenstein.
Yes.
That has tangled with Batman before. He's kind of an anti-hero. There are some monsters in it, so I wonder if this is going to be that. That'd be sweet. Mm-hmm. That's also animated. There's going to be a Waller TV show, which is like a spin-off of Peacemaker.
Yes.
Fine with that. Viola Davis is good.
Yeah, it'll have apparently cameos from Peacemaker's show.
So I guess that means we're not getting Peacemaker season 2?
We are. I believe it's mentioned. It's actually, I believe it's... Well,
it wasn't in the list.
Okay. No, it's not in the list, but we'll talk. We'll talk about it.
Superman Legacy, written by Gunn. The film hit theaters July 11th, 2025. Focus on Superman balancing his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing. Yeah, they got to start shooting that pretty soon, eh?
Yeah.
So it's gotta be. I think he already wrote the script, given that he teased he was reading. Yes.
It says he's half done.
Oh, half done. Okay.
Half done.
Well, he'll be all the way. He's got to be all the way done before the end of the year, I guess. So he's gonna have to cast Superman, which will take a while, unless he already has someone in mind.
I think they have people in mind, but I don't think we're gonna know until it's done.
Because if it's balancing his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing. They got to cast his parents, Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, Perry White.
So many.
And
so many to discuss.
Whoever is going to be the villain in the first one, I guess, Lex Luthor.
Would they? Yeah, well, they would have to make it Lex, right? Like, I guess they don't have to, but they probably.
He can't do like a Brainiac or
and that's what the rumor was, is that they were thinking about doing Brainiac first, and it's like, no.
Or Bizarro first. You can't do those guys first.
No, you can't do. No.
Yeah. Same as, do we start seeing some Marvel actors jumping over to DC?
I don't think so right away.
It will happen though. Like Dave Bautista,
it will happen, but
Dave
not
Bautista
right away.
will be something in DC. He already said he's not going to be Bane, but he'll be something.
He'll be somebody else.
It also depends how much DC is paying, because Marvel will pay big actors big money. Ryan Reynolds back as Green Lantern, no.
No.
Maybe if it's like a joke movie, like Booster Gold TV series, but
sure. But we got to see him. We got to see that kind of wrap up. That was nice how that happened.
Yeah. So Booster Gold TV series, live action series, uses his basic technology from the future to pretend to be a superhero in present day. That has James Gunn written all over writing it.
Yes.
Maybe directing a few episodes like Peacemaker to get it going, but I feel like that's one of his pet projects. Lanterns. This enormous TV event series follows intergalactic cops Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan. So no Guy Gardner yet. I assume we'll get other Green Lanterns eventually, maybe even Sinestro.
I can't wait.
But also, this is is it going to be $10 million an episode? There's going to be a ton of CGI for that, especially if they're on Oa. Although I suppose
they said that it's going to be terrestrial based, which means it's going to be grounded.
So cheaper episodes.
Cheaper. It's gonna. I thought. You know what? I think I'm going to use that from now on as something a little bit on the cheaper end of the scale, more terrestrial about it.
Okay, the Authority DC's Wildstorm characters will join the DCU as members of the Authority, take matters into their own hands to do what they believe is right. I don't know anything about the Authority. Never really read Wildstorm, but that's cool that they're bringing something in from one of their other imprints.
Yeah, very shocked at this one. This one was a far left field.
Yeah. The Brave and the Bold. The DCU will introduce its Batman and Robin in this unusual father-son story inspired by Grant Morrison's comic series. So you told me, and I think we'll see this in an interview at the next article, but they're separate Batmans, yes? From Batman.
Yes.
Pattinson Batman 2. This Batman. So they're going to have to cast a new Batman and a new Damian. Well, there hasn't been a new Damian, but a Damian Wayne.
Correct. Yes.
So I guess they're skipping entire Blaze here. Hello, Blay. I guess they're gonna skip an entire origin story. Thank God. We don't need to see the parents and the.
From what I understand, they're hopping right over pretty much all the origin stories, except
because everyone knows.
For Swamp Thing.
Yeah. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. This science fiction adventure will be based on Tom King's amazing award-winning recent comic series. Presents a Supergirl viewers are not used to seeing. Sweet. I don't know much about that, although I've seen a lot of people are hoping that this was going to be one of the stories it was based on. So good. Totally stoked on Swamp Thing, and it's going to be a film.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started.
It's so bad. It was so disappointing that they canceled that show before the first episode aired, because that show was actually pretty good.
It had potential, but it got off the rails pretty fast.
Well, they'll definitely have to base it on Alan Moore's run.
I hope so.
Although the new run the latest run of Swamp Thing, which was I think 16 episodes. Originally it was like 8 and then 10 and then 12 and 16 because the writing was so good and it was so popular. So maybe they might bring it forward. Although you'd kind of already have to know who Swamp Thing is to get that comic because it starts off with other Swamp Thing people. So yeah.
Right.
And then Paradise Lost, which is described as a Game of Thrones style home of the Amazon set in Themyscira, dozens, hundreds, thousands of years before Wonder Woman.
I believe they said 100 or so years.
100.
So I would assume that it's going to be her grandmother is going to be the main.
Well, don't they live for hundreds of years already?
So probably.
Okay, so let's see. There was a couple interviews they did after announcing the slate. Which cast members are in the DC universe now? He left. He did leave it open for some of them to return, which could be a problem.
Yeah, I'm a little so on this little decision.
Yeah. So the recasting of DC's two biggest characters includes a mystery of who the next Superman will be. Superman, I really love the idea of Superman. He's a big old galoot, Gunn said when asked what he will be looking for when casting the role. He is a farm boy from Kansas who's very idealistic. His greatest weakness is that he'll never kill anybody, doesn't want to hurt a living soul. And I like that sort of innate goodness about Superman as his defining characteristic. It's not All-Star Superman, but again, I'm a huge fan of All-Star Superman, and it's very inspired by All-Star Superman, which is what he tweeted and teased everyone last week with his Coffee and Comics tweet. Rounding out DC's Trinity is Wonder Woman, a character who doesn't seem to have a role in Chapter 1 titles announced, though the duo admits that there are more titles they have planned. They just have not revealed it in this presentation. Paradise Lost will tell a tale of Themyscira prior to the birth of Diana Prince, of the Diana Prince character. Saffron likens the themes and complexity of Paradise Lost to HBO's Game of Thrones. It's an origin story, a way of how did this society of women come about? What does it mean? What are their politics like? What are the rules? Who's in charge? Etc., etc. The future of Gal Gadot, however, is not as clear as the past for Themyscira seems to be for the duo. We've talked to Gal. She's up for doing stuff. We're not sure what we're going to do with that. The only actors who seem to be guaranteed so far are John Cena's Peacemaker and Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. Meanwhile, speculation has swirled about Jason Momoa's future as the Aquaman star has been teasing something so exciting. It seems hard to imagine he could simply be talking about the same role. When prompted by comicbook.com about whether or not he's going to become Lobo, Momoa was caught off guard and seemed to be teasing as much to be the case. Jason always thought Aquaman was a trilogy in his own mind. In his own mind.
Yeah.
Saffron said when prompted with questions about Momoa's future, but listen, he loves Lobo. He's been very clear about that too. He's never going to play two characters, but no decision has been made. He's never going to play two characters.
Yeah.
So he's not then?
So you can finish this. I think if you save the Gizmodo interview for last, it sheds a little bit of light on information. It breaks it down into some easy questions that like they pretty much like shortlist the answers that they told them in like gigantic paragraphs. It actually gives some light on what the hell is going on.
Okay. Then there's
Tiny bit.
Ezra Miller, who's been in legal battles and controversies left and right. Saffron and Gunn are quick to share how excellent the Flash movie turned out to be, but slower to the draw when it comes to decisions regarding Miller's future as Barry Allen. Ezra is fully committed to the recovery right now, Saffron said, and we talk to them and we're in constant contact, but when the time is right, we'll have the conversation with them and decide what's best for them personally and also for us. I hope this is like PR speak to, I hope everyone goes sees the movie as this is going to be Ezra's last time as the Flash, and we're just not telling anyone until after the movie hasn't tanked. And, because he grooming kids should be done, right?
Yeah. So basically, should be done, isn't done yet. I think they're basically doing absolutely everything they possibly can until this movie is released, and like once that happens, they already said it. Like the movie's resetting the universe.
Yeah.
So I think we're just gonna call it right there. And as everyone has said, is as we're gonna come back. I don't think that they can afford to have him come back. And I know that excuse me. I know that there was some like things mentioned about his acting in the movie being like the best acting I've ever seen in my entire life. I could say that maybe it's like good, even great, but I don't think it's the most amazing acting
It ain't.
you've ever seen in your life to the point where it saves him enough to come back. Like there's just no chance. I just can't. Just can't see it.
Well, I mean, even Oscar winners lose their jobs. Mel Gibson disappeared for 12 years.
Yeah, and he came back. Yeah, that's true. There is some that obviously have. I mean, I don't know. At the same time, I don't really condone any of them. So, whatever. Fuck them.
So what do we know about the Superman movie? These first two series, Creature Commandos and Waller, are kind of a amuse-bouche for what is coming up with Superman Legacy. Safran explains, so James is currently writing it. We certainly hope and are hoping that he will direct it. It's not an origin story. It focuses on Superman balancing his Kryptonian heritage with human upbringing. Superman represents truth, justice, the American way. He has a kindness in a world and that thinks of kindness as old-fashioned. Gunn has proved his ability to develop lesser-known characters into beloved stars through his rosters of Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad. He's focusing heavily on one of the best-known characters for a change. I only have 7 days in a week, and all of which are used in the service of DC storytelling. I'm working all the time, and I can only do what I can do. We're gonna have to make a decision at some point. I've worked a lot on the outline for the Authority myself. What best serves DC? What best serves the fans? Is it me really focusing on Superman, or making sure that we have a great opening, or is it me giving a little bit to that, a little bit to this, a little bit to that, etc., etc.
Yes.
Yeah, he's probably a super busy guy trying to have his hands in every project, much
Cookie
like
jar.
Kevin Feige does.
Hands in the cookie.
I mean, what's different for DC? We already know what's different. There's two people who actually understand comics, and
Sure.
and the biz. Why is he
biz,
running
yes.
it? We don't need to hear that. Okay, so you said there was some questions in here. Let's see.
So it's the same answers, but better organized.
What is that? Let's see if there's any good questions in here.
There's a really good one right
Oh,
after
here we go.
this,
What were your thoughts on
Shazam.
DC movies before you came on board? The history has been shit. It's been a real fucked up journey for DC. I think that there was basically no one minding the mint, and they were giving out IP to any creatives that, smiled at whoever was in charge. Whoa, I guess when you're in charge, you can say whatever you want now.
Yeah,
there was
love it,
never
right?
any real power given to the people in charge, so somebody could always go over their head and do whatever they wanted. The Rock. And we had the DCEU, which
Can't
then
afford to
became the
spit this
Joss
out.
Whedon Justice League, but it also became the Snyderverse, which became this. And we have Wonder Woman, and we have Wonder Woman 84, which doesn't even match what happened in Wonder Woman 1. Wow, just throwing everyone under the bus.
Yeah, just tossing.
And then we have the Arrowverse and even us coming in with the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. And then all of a sudden, Batmite is a real guy. Okay, so he didn't like anything that came before. So far, I'm agreeing with him. I mean, look, there are some good movies, good-ish movies.
Yes.
DC has 4 films scheduled for release in 2023. How do those fit in? I think we've gotten lucky with the next 4 movies, frankly, because we have Shazam, which leads into Flash, which resets everything. Which then goes into Blue Beetle, which is totally disconnected. He can totally be a part of the DCU. And that goes into Aquaman, which leads into Superman, our first big project. When does the DCU canon start, and will actors come back?
So I think before you continue, I think that's super important. That little paragraph there, the last one that you just read, which was
Leads into
they're going
Superman?
to do, Shazam, that goes into Flash, resets everything, then Blue Beetle, then Aquaman is after Blue Beetle,
Yeah.
and obviously Aquaman being tied in, so something.
So we're going to have to make some changes.
I think something is going to happen at the end of Aquaman that's going to be like the definitive end, I guess I would say.
Do they recast Amber Heard mid-film? Like, it's just she's in the first scene, and then the second scene is a different actress. That'd be hilarious.
I would die. And I would laugh, and I would laugh.
So when does the DCU canon start? Our first project is Creature Commandos. Forward will be canon, will be connected. We're using some actors from the past. We're not using other actors from the past. But everything from the moment forward will be connected and consistent. Okay, so Creature Command. So then that just kind of contradicts what he said in the previous one, is that Aquaman leads in Superman. But
yeah,
it's Creature Commandos that starts the whole thing off.
I don't know.
Is this a multiverse? The DCU is a multiverse. We're going to be focusing on one universe from that multiverse.
Yeah.
If something isn't DCU, we're going to make that very clear.
At least we get that.
Continue reading. How will it be clear what's DCU? So strictly adult fare like Joker or kids animation like Teen Titans Go, we're going to make very clear that those are DC Elseworlds, just the same way you would do in the comics. Can you say what actors may or not be returning? Yeah, Gal. I think I read that Ben Affleck really wants to direct something. Oh yeah, may try to direct something in the future.
Yeah, he's interested.
Punted on Lobo. Henry Cavill was not fired. He was just not hired to be in Superman Legacy. That's one way to put it.
Yeah, they're
and
wording this very weirdly.
Gunn didn't fire him. He was fired a long time ago, and The Rock did an end around just to get him back in. Yeah. Any chance Michael Keaton to return as Batman? That'd be sweet. But we are a multiverse still, but the main thing that we're focusing on right now is creating the universe that people can kind of put their feet into, and then out of that, if we have a multiverse take, which I actually know one of the things we're working on is a multiverse tale. So yes, I guess.
Leaves it open.
Did you have to make changes to the Flash to set all this up? Saffron says we had input on it for sure, but there's nothing we had to do in order to set it up. Gunn says, can I also say The Flash is fucking amazing? Like, it's one of the best superheroes movies I've ever seen. Andy Muschietti did an amazing job. I'm really excited for people to see it. Will Ezra Miller be back? Committed to constant contact, blah, blah, blah. Oh, Gunn says, let's see what happens. Saffron says something different. Saffron's the money guy. He's like, let's not tank this before it comes out.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So basically, if you say that the main star of a multi-million-dollar budgeted movie is not going to come back, people are not going to go see that movie.
I mean, they're going to have a hard time. Well, I don't know. People kind of forget these things when it's a good thing. I mean, I won't pay to see it, but
no, I don't think I want to go to this.
Yeah. Where does the Suicide Squad fit in? Some things are like a rough memory of what happens in DCU, but once we hit Superman, anything can be changed. Okay. How's the DCU different from the MCU? I think we have a lot of differences. I think one of the reasons why I love DC is it's really another universe. It's an alternate world. In Marvel, generally, it's New York, Chicago, San Francisco. Then every place else in the world is a fictional universe for some reason. Here at the DCU, we have Metropolis, Gotham, Themyscira, Atlantis. Yeah, I guess. I mean, Gotham is Chicago and Metropolis is New York. Like, those.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's helping you build this?
He's just probably excited that they get to like
play around with new cities.
Yeah, like delve into new settings and ideas and themes, I guess, that those different locations can bring, I guess.
Who is helping you build this overarching saga? Tom King has been my partner throughout all this. He was giving me answers to shit before I took the job. So me, him, Crystal Henry, who worked on The Watchmen, and is doing Waller. Christina Hodson, who wrote The Flash. Drew Goddard, who you guys probably know. Jeremy Slater, who just did Moon Knight. The group of people we've been meeting with and, putting this all together. Why should fans trust this one? The biggest difference is I've done it. So I started Guardians 1 with a story of what that trilogy was, where it started and where it ended. and that the story is just a smaller version of doing this. Yeah, I don't think like he's fine. I trust him to.
I
make
feel
a
like he's
cohesive
just
story.
kind of like thinking basic. You know what I mean? Which is probably in the best circumstance. Like obviously everything is going to be very elaborate and intertwined, but for
Right.
him, he's like kind of like focused and has
Yeah.
like a straight line of an idea of what he's got going on.
Are you sticking a specific order of release with these projects? Saffron says many of the projects are already being worked on, but we're remaining flexible and we're going to adjust because we're never going to put project in production before the script is right. So there's a general timeline, but there will be flexibility. Gunn adds, and the announced slate is not the order of things happening necessarily. It's a very rough order. And also we're actually developing a few other things, but for one reason or another, we can't say them.
And there it is.
Does that flexibility work with a shared universe that's one story? There are some things that are very much a part of the central story, and that's the same thing as Marvel. They have stories that like have one or two things about the overall universe, and the rest is just about that story or that superhero, right?
Yes.
How do you decide what's a TV show or what's a movie? It's all story based. So to us, storytelling is 100% king. So if it's a story that's more complicated, like Lanterns, like the Lantern story is more complicated, like the Waller story, it's more of an independent TV vibe, like Booster Gold in a way. Then that's more suited to television. So it has to do with tone. If it has to do with storytelling, it has to do with it is something that we can tell in 2 hours and 10 minutes. Well, I do like that they're not putting a restriction. Like
Yeah.
Marvel has that, like, oh, it's got any TV has to be 6 episodes or under, or 6 hours or under, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't seem like they really put it. They're gonna put it in whatever format lets them tell the best story for that character or that idea. So I appreciate that answer.
Mm-hmm.
How are you deciding what something will be rated? It depends on the story. I mean, we're going to give every story what it deserves. Some things we know Superman Legacy is definitely something that we would like to be PG-13. I'm going to make sure of that. Other things like the Waller TV show are a little bit more mature, and we have other things that are a little bit more aimed towards young women or kids that are still within this world, and that kind of feeds everything back into Supermans and the Braves and the Bolds that everyone gets. How many releases are you looking at per year? 2 movies and 2 TV shows. Are these 10 projects everything in chapter 1? We haven't announced everything in chapter 1. There's some stuff that comes beyond this, so let's just say that it's too early to talk about that. But it becomes very clear what the story is. This is half of it.
Gun. This is half.
So we're expecting 7 more then? 7 more to be... Or 10, sorry. 10 more. 10 more
8
projects.
to 10 more. No, wait. They announced 10 things, right?
Yeah, 10 things. So half of... Right? Will these chapters end in being crossover events like Marvel? Everything is crossing over throughout. These characters are all interacting throughout the different movies, or different stories. It doesn't mean always, Brave and the Bold may just be Batman and Robin and the characters involved in that. But I know a lot of other times the characters cross over. I know in Creature Commandos, one of the main characters shows up in Waller. 8 to 10 year plan, which we already knew. This is a reset. Why did you decide to do a shared universe? I mean, he already said that because it was shit before. Will the movies and shows be visually cohesive? I think it's important to say that even though this is all a connected universe, it's really important to me that the individual writers and directors that are on the projects give their own self-expression to it. Just like they do in the comics, everything doesn't always have to look the same. Everything doesn't always have the same expression. Different artists bring remarkably different looks and feels and tones. This is not the Gunverse. I want each project to have the feeling. Yeah, that might be a shot at Feige too, I guess.
Yes, maybe.
Is there a worry audience might be confused? No. Is this should stay on their own? Yes. Will actors play the same role in every medium? Yes. If John Cena is playing Peacemaker in the movie, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's kind of already covered that and that, so we can skip that. So before we go on to the next story, the 2 that had dates were Superman and Batman 2.
Yes.
They're both in 2025.
Yeah.
Batman 2 comes first. Wasn't it October 25th, I think?
23rd, but yeah, close enough.
So that will be an Elseworld story.
Yes, correct. October 3rd.
Does that kind of kill it now? Like that's gonna be the last one.
I would say that's probably going to be it. But I would see that within 5 years of those universes colliding. Of course, they have them. Why wouldn't they? Like,
So you think in 2030 there'll be a Batman Pattinson crossover with a Batman DCU crossover?
yeah, whoever they pick. I wouldn't say crossover, but like a cameo or something. You know what I mean?
A Batman will cameo in a Batman movie?
Yes.
Okay, we'll have to make a notification on our calendar to check this in 7
10 years.
see if Josh is right about the Pattinson cameo in the other Batman universe.
I'll take a bite out of my shoe.
No, you won't.
Try.
So I would say I'm fairly optimistic about this slate so far.
Feeling good. I'm feeling pretty tasty about it.
How are the viewers feeling?
I believe what I've seen online has been pretty good.
Positive?
Pretty positive.
Well, that could change on a dime. So
As always.
one wrong move, Gun, and it's all over.
One more tweet and it's over for you.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess the next big thing would be they're going to cast Superman, right?
Well, I think the next
Because
thing
Creature
they'll probably-
Commandos and Waller are TV shows, and we already know who Waller is.
So I guess, let's say, Creature Commandos and Waller are probably going to be on the next chopping block. They're going to have to figure out who's going to play all those. And you're looking at what? At least 10 not major characters, but 10 characters they're going to have to deal with.
Well, Creature Commandos is animated, so that's just voices.
But
But
they said that everyone that's voicing the characters are most likely going to play.
you think they're going to be live action Creature Commandos that are going to show up at some point?
He literally said that they're gonna go in and out of animation and back in again.
Okay.
That's what he said.
But does that mean that those characters will go in and out of animation, or they will switch back and forth to tell stories in live action animation for different different characters?
No. He said that the same people are going to play it. So it's like if they are shown in the movie and it's live action, then it's going to be that person who voiced it.
Okay.
Because they're following the manifest of what his brother's doing, Sean, right? He's doing Weasel because he did Weasel, and so that's what they're. I guess they're following that. So he was also like the motion capture for it. So they're gonna do they're gonna do the same with the voices. That's what they said. That's what said.
Okay. So then. So that and that's coming. Plus, who's going to be the villain in Batman 2? Because that comes out first. So is it going to be Joker? Because they've already cast Barry Keoghan as Joker, even though it wasn't really. Or
Barry said that he hasn't been asked to come back yet. Said that's what they say.
Okay, so
and then
it may not be Joker.
And then there's a big rumor going around that it's going to be Dr. Freeze. Sorry,
Oh,
Dr.
Victor
Freeze.
Freeze.
Mr.
So Arnold
Freeze.
Schwarzenegger's coming
Oh my
back.
God. Mr. Freeze. I can't believe I said Dr.
Well, he is a
Mr.
doctor
Freeze.
technically,
That is true.
a doctor of science.
Yeah.
So are we gonna get Schwarzenegger back then?
No.
Oh.
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay.
No.
So I guess that's enough talking about DC. We can talk about washed up actors who are mad they're not in Marvel.
Yeah, we'll just go with that.
Okay, Marvel Studios has been developing their Phase 5 for the past few years, and it will launch Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which is 3 weeks away. 3 weeks? 17th.
2 weeks.
No, that's the 10th. Wait,
Oh, sorry, 3.
it's the 17th.
I
isn't
like
it?
how we're both spacing. It is indeed 2.5 weeks.
2.5. Right, because it's Tuesday. Okay. One of the biggest films in Phase 5 will be the upcoming Blade reboot, and it seems as if the film has hit a fork in the road. Blade was supposed to be filming last year, but lost its director due to those pesky creative differences. The reboot was supposed to be rated PG-13 as opposed to the original's R rating. One of the stars of the original franchise has come out to reveal that he isn't a big fan of the project. In a new interview, Stephen Dorff had some choice words for the reboot. Even Black Adam caught astray. Quote, all this other garbage is just embarrassing. You know what I mean? I mean, God bless them. They're making a bunch of money, but their movies suck. Nobody's going to remember them. Nobody's remembering Black Adam at the end of the day. I didn't even see that movie. It looks so bad. Marvel is used to me trashing them anyways. How's that PG Blade movie going for you? They can't get a director. Ha ha ha. Because anybody who goes there is going to be laughed at by everyone. Because we already did it and made it the best. There's no Stephen Norrington out there.
Made it the best?
Okay, so Blade was a very good movie. It was very good. It was one of the best superhero movies at the time it was made.
Time.
Yeah, like it was probably one of the best.
Yeah.
And he was a good villain. I will give him that.
At the time, yeah.
Blade 3 was also one of the worst superhero movies ever made. I don't know whether that's due to Wesley Snipes and his like losing his mind for a bit. If you ever
And his taxes.
yeah, if you ever remember that story from Patton Oswalt where he on set Wesley Snipes wanted everyone to call him Blade, like even off camera.
Right. Yeah.
He wouldn't respond to anything but Blade. I don't know. This just kind of seems like sour grapes. And he didn't like. Yes, Black Adam wasn't good, but he didn't even see it. This is the thing I don't. If you're gonna trash a movie, you got to see it, so you can actually know what you're talking about and have some points
silly
about why you think it sucked.
Yeah.
Some people liked it. It didn't make a ton of money, but it made some money. And there are some Marvel movies like Civil War and Winter Soldier and Infinity War that are some of the best superhero movies ever made, and arguably some very good movies. Black Panther got nominated for an Oscar twice, for once for acting, once for best motion picture. Like,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of people who like these movies also think they're good. But yeah, if you're gonna trash a movie, at least watch it. Would be like, it's fine to not like something. A lot of people don't like certain things. You shouldn't. There's some things I don't like, but there's some things you like that I like. You requested Avatar, I see on to watch, and I'm like, oh well, you know, that's fine. Moody can watch that movie again. I necessarily wouldn't do that, but it's not trashing you for wanting to watch it again. People like what they like. It's fine. Like, okay. So we'll do marketplace, top 10 cover price, and keys of the week.
Do it. Keys of the week. Your top 10.
Okay. So, still in the top 10 this week is Bitch Planet. World's Finest is the Jack White one from last week. Yeah. Star Wars High Republic, The Blade, is the new. It's got the first appearance of everyone, like we said last week. Red Hulk is back in the top 10 with Harrison Ford. I'm not sure why that's suddenly in the top 10 again, but Josh is falling over.
Sorry. My shit is just falling apart. Anyway.
Adam Warlock is in the top 10 now, given that we saw a picture of Will Poulter as Adam Warlock from Guardians of the Galaxy 3. James Gunn, I believe, also said that he is not a hero in this. He's very much a villain.
Mm-hmm.
We also have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Lost Years, Last Ronin. That must be a 1 in 25 because it's not even for sale anywhere.
Jesus.
We have a Supergirl. This is Action Comics. Must be a 1 in 20 trade dress variant. 1050. I don't know. It's a 1 in whatever, but that's for sale. Or in the top 10. Eminem still. This is like what 20 weeks in a row now.
It's crazy.
And then X-Men with the Phoenix cover. Not sure why this is popping again. Oh, an 8.0 at 305. Oh, it's an auction. That's not too bad. First Phoenix 450 newsstand raw. Wow, a raw copy 450 newsstand. Only $17.50 for a 9.6. Sammy says that TMNT sold out at 2 local comic shops. Wow.
Yeah.
A good 2.0 copy of the first Phoenix 350. Did we miss some Phoenix news this week? Like, I didn't see any Marvel X-Men news this week. This is nuts. Okay. So keys of the week in stores today and tomorrow. Silver Surfer Ghost Light #1, first appearance of the Ghost Light, formerly Al Harper, who was introduced and died in Silver Surfer #5, 1969. So I guess he's back. He's been resurrected. Bloodline, daughter of Blade #1, first solo series featuring Brielle, aka Bloodline, Origin of Brielle. Almighty #1, 5-issue limited series about a killer hired to rescue an abducted girl in the future America ravaged by economic collapse and a mysterious environmental disaster. Oh, this seems like actually it's going on right now. It doesn't really seem in the future, does it? Future America ravaged by economic collapse and mysterious environmental disaster. Seems like it's kind of happening right now. With all those layoffs by all the tech companies.
Like 100,000 jobs, no big deal.
I think PayPal is laying off 2,000 workers or something.
Yeah, that was today.
Although I did see, my wife told me that Tim Cook from Apple took a $46 million pay cut so that he didn't have to lay people off, which is surprising. Steve Jobs never would have done that. But
I don't think so. He wouldn't take that as an.
But Tim Cook, despite them still building things in China for slave labor, it seems like a good guy.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Archie's Valentine Special Spectacular. First appearance of Cassie Cloud, a pretty girl with an interest in hanging out with the nerdy crowd.
All right.
Black Tape #1, the widow of a dead rock star, is in possession of her husband's final heavy metal masterpiece that just might open a doorway to hell. Blood Tree #1, 2 obsessed NYPD detectives hunt the angel killer, a sociopath who preys on the innocent family members of known murderers in order to purify the rest of society. That might be all right. Breath of Shadows #1, a successful musician in the 1960s attempts to quit drugs via a controversial method in the jungles of South America, but is instead confronted with the horrors beyond his wildest nightmares. Tales from Nottingham #1, anthology of stories that explore the origins of Robin Hood and his merry men, Marion's violent past, and the Aya of the Hashahin's first kill that will lead into volume 3 of the series. Where Monsters Lie #1, a survival of slasher movie murderers, hones his skills to confront these villains and discover a gated community called Wilmhurst, where the creatures of horror films live in between killing sprees. That sounds pretty good, actually. Just like everyone hanging out in a gated community because they don't want all the killers don't want just random people coming into their gated community. That's fun. Batman Legends of Gotham #1, DC Power, a celebration #1, anthology of stories featuring black characters. Celebrate February's Black History Month. DC's Harley Quinn Romances #1, anthology of romance stories. Flash 1 Minute War Special #1, a one-shot supplemental story of the event that kicked off in Flash 790. Lazarus Planet #1, Legends Reborn, #1. Avengers #65, Origin of Avenger Prime. Dark Web finale. That's been going on for a while. Last 2 months, I think. Dark Web event. Demon Wars Down in Flames #1. One shot featuring Phoenix versus Magic. And a new Star Wars, Santa Staros #1. First solo series featuring Santa Staros. The former wife of Han Solo. Okay, so some other news other than DC. We're back down to Marvel news. So The Bear. Did you see The Bear?
I did. It was
with Maddie with Toronto's own Maddie Matheson.
Yeah, well, whatever. He's that's fine that he's in it, but
come on,
he also executive produced it. He had a lot of say in it too.
Yeah. Well, regardless of the actors in it, just the way that was filmed, of how a kitchen is chaotic, and my wife used to run a kitchen, and she's like, God, that's how it is. It's claustrophobic, it's fast paced, The Bear was great.
And this specific actress was amazing.
Her and what's the other guy's name from
Shameless?
He won an Emmy.
What does he have? 3 names?
Jonathan Bear, blah blah blah. I don't know.
The Bear actor, main actor, blah blah blah.
Okay, so Deadline is reporting that Ayo Idabria from The Bear and Dickinson has joined the cast of Marvel Studios' upcoming Thunderbolts. Further details are unavailable, but the trade notes that her role is being kept heavily under wraps. She joined an impressive ensemble cast that features Florence Pugh, Sebastian Stan, Wyatt Russell, Olga Kurylenko, David Arbor, Hannah John Kamen, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and Harrison Ford. No fucking clue who this could be. I mean, they're not going to cast her if it's not going to be a long-term role, but I have no idea.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, no idea.
I'm really not sure.
If anyone has a suggestion to who she could be, I'd be happy to hear in the comics, but I have no idea who she could be.
Spacing.
James Gunn addresses the decision for Titans and Doom Patrol to end. This decision precedes him. He had nothing to do with it, so stop tweeting at him that it's his fault. The decision to end the series precedes us, but I certainly wish the best for the talented group of creators, actors, and the rest of the crew that produced both shows. The filmmaker also replied to a query about the cancellations and whether he would have had the power to keep Titans and Doom Patrol actors on as their respective characters. Sure, Andy, what characters, performers playing those characters we keep in the DCU would be mine and Peter's call, but that doesn't mean we can keep any TV show running indefinitely. So I guess he does leave that open for them to come back and play their characters in the new DCU. I know The Brave and the Bold, I saw something about they're finally going to have the Bat family in that movie. So Nightwing, Red Hood,
right,
Batgirl. So they could bring the guy from Titans forward, I guess. And at some point there is going to be a Teen Titans series. They can't just leave them out. So
I thought he was so good.
Now that Brendan Fraser's all hot again with his Oscars and stuff. Wait, did I
so hot right now?
Yeah. Okay. So this kind of goes with this, I guess. So let's put these together. Ryan Gosling is the latest actor to be rumored for a role in Fantastic Four.
It's gonna be crazy.
Another day, another Fantastic Four casting rumor, but this one comes from a very reliable source. During the latest episode of the Hot Mic podcast, Jeff Snyder said that he'd heard some rumblings about Ryan Gosling being in the mix for one of the main roles in Marvel Studios' Fantastic Four reboot. Wasn't sure which one. Reed Richards seems like the most likely bet, but Johnny Storm, Dr. Doom, or even Ben Grimm. I don't think Reed Richards at all fits Ryan Gosling. It's Johnny Storm.
Yeah, he's got to be Johnny Storm.
Yeah, there's no
Ben Grimm
or Dr. Doom, please. That pretty boy is not a villain.
Unless they burn his skin off.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
He's not going to let him do that in real life.
Snyder also mentioned the Adam Driver's name in connection with both Mr. Fantastic and Dr. Doom.
God.
He could play either. I'd be fine. Whether it's like obviously he's
I
the
just
best
don't
thing
want him in.
about.
I just don't want him in Fantastic Four.
You don't want Adam Driver in Fantastic Four?
I just don't feel like watching him in Fantastic Four.
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
I've seen him in so many stuff already, and he's like Kylo Ren in my head.
Well, it's because he was amazing, Kylo Ren. He's the only thing that was really great about those movies was him.
Mm.
And he's in a movie with shooting dinosaurs with laser guns.
Also true.
Yeah, I don't know what people think in the chat, but I would be fine with Adam Driver being Reed Richards or Doctor Doom.
Let's see what they say.
Run a poll.
The thousands.
We've also heard Gosling might be up for the role of Sentry in Thunderbolts. I feel like he's too small for that.
There was a big talk about that, and
Jasmine says gloomy Adam Driver is Dr. Gloomy. Yeah, he is a bit gloomy. He does have that kind of depressing thing about him, yeah. So Matt Shankman has recently boarded the project as director with Jeff Kaplan and Ian Springer currently working on the script. Plot deals are still a mystery, but Kevin Feige has confirmed this will not be an origin story for the super team. They've been around 70 years. We all know the origin. Okay, Captain America is fighting Captain America. Captain America Cold War, the explosive crossover saga that's been building since the very beginning of Captain America's current era, is very nearly upon us. These days, Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson presently wield the shield and have embarked on separate journeys as Captain America in the pages of Colin Kelly, Jackson Lanzig, and Carmen Carnero's Captain America's Sentinel of Liberty, and Tochi Oyobuchi and R.B. Silva's Captain America Symbol of Truth. This April, both books will collide in an epic that will make them question everything they believe in, and each other. This bold chapter in Captain America's 80-year legacy will be a globe-trotting, espionage-filled thriller lined with the hard-hitting personal conflict between the two Captain Americas. In fact, the storyline will pay off various plot threads that made both titles must-reads the past year, including the rise of the mysterious Outer Circle and their shocking connection to Steve Rogers. Surprising return of Ian Rod. Oh, Nomad's back? Okay. I have both of them. I just haven't got into it yet. Sam Wilson's intense conflict with Wakanda and the White Wolf, and Bucky's bold new mission as the New Revolution. Things will come to a head when Bucky and White Wolf join forces to kidnap Ian Rogers and Twisted Plan to unleash Dimension Z. Will Steve and Sam be able to agree on the hard choices needed to make things right? We'll find out when the story begins this April. And Captain America Black Widow joins the fray when Bucky, Barnes, and White Wolf team up to strike at the heart of the Outer Circle. Then in Symbol of Truth 13, White Wolf's latest trap has left Captain America barely standing, and Sam Wilson is hesitant to push the team toward certain death without a backup plan. So that's the, looks like the first cover. They're definitely punching each other.
Yes, much punch.
Oh, that's a nice cover. Is that Black Widow putting a knife to Winter Soldier's throat?
Yeah. Sexually.
I guess we're kind of out of news now because... Oh, well, I guess we'll do this one because people are assholes. So after originally sharing a photo of his cat, right here, James Gunn, one user responded by commenting with, "Fuck your cat, dude. You pissed off an entire franchise worth of fans. Nobody gives a rat ass about your cat. Cavill is Clark." Gunn chose to respond with a rather blunt, "It'd be great if at the very least you knew how to spell an actor's name if you're going to be so outraged."
Yeah.
Look at the kitty.
Not really.
He hasn't really done anything yet, and people are shit. You know what? That brings up another point. So,
I think the point we can both agree is, can we talk about that keyboard? My God.
The old Microsoft keyboard, PS2.
What is
PS2
happening?
connection?
This motherfucker. Millions of dollars.
Yeah, the old Microsoft or Logitech keyboard.
Christ Almighty, Johnson.
Okay, so it's kind of out of news, but there's some things we could talk about. So,
hit it.
Lance Reddick. Do you know who Lance Reddick is?
No.
He was in The Wire. He was the voice of Savala in Destiny franchise. He's in Bosch.
Oh, yeah. Sorry,
yes,
him.
The great Lance Reddick. Okay.
Yes.
He is been cast as Zeus in the Percy Jackson live action TV series on Disney Plus. Okay. Now, I saw this on Facebook, and 90% of the comments were positive, like, because he's a fantastic actor, right?
He's very good.
Oh, he's also in the John Wick series.
Right. Yeah.
One, like, this one comment just made me laugh because it's so ridiculous. This one guy or person said, "This is a great choice for Zeus. He's a great actor, 95% on board with this, unless they cast him for diversity reasons. If they cast him because he's a great actor, then I'm okay with it. But if it was a diversity checkbox, then it's wrong." So, he's a great actor. He's going to be great in the role. But you're not... If the casting director was like, I cast it because he's black and not because he's a great actor, then it's not... You don't agree with the choice. Even though he's a fantastic actor and would be great in the role. Then you should fire him and cast someone else instead. It just didn't make any sense to me. Like, you're okay with it if it's for one reason and not another, but he is a great actor anyways, so how would you ever know?
Distinguish between the two when it really matters, huh?
It was just a weird thing to be upset about, I guess. I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. And from everything I've, like, I have a nephew who really loves the Percy Jackson books. I started reading them when he was like 7 or 8, and he's read all of them. He hated the movies as a kid, like even an 8 or 9-year-old hated the movies.
Yep.
But from everything I've read so far, I've never read the things, but from everything I've read so far, that they seem to be doing a good job of casting for this new live series.
Yes.
Josh is sending me something fun. Fast X poster reveals a pensive Vince Diesel and an ominous message.
Oh man,
It's
something.
The end of the road begins. That's the ominous message. But didn't we know this was the last one?
Did we know it was the last one?
Yeah.
Either way, the poster's hilarious.
Where's the poster? Oh, this. Oh, with the cross.
You can, yeah.
Fast X trailer debuts February 10th. Have you seen all the movies?
I haven't seen the last like 2, I think. And what was it? Like, I guess the last 2 were bad, but the ones before that were good. I think I'm only 2 behind.
I think the last one I saw was James Wan did 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
And then he went on to do Aquaman. I think I saw the first one he did, and that was fun. But I think I've only seen 3 total.
Fun.
I mean, it was fine.
Fun.
But I never bothered to watch Hobbs and Shaw was the other one. It was like the spinoff.
Right. Yeah. I did watch that, and it was not bad.
Jasmine says family no more for the Fast 10. Yeah, I don't know. I also read that Vin Diesel is kind of a dick to everyone, so I don't know.
Yeah, more news has been coming out about that. Like, I mean,
and what's the other guy who's a weirdo in it? That was really upset that The Rock did his own spinoff. It's not Taye Diggs.
Ludacris?
No.
James Wan did set number 7. Justin Lin did number 9.
The one I saw then. Oh my God, there's so many Fast and the Furiouses. Which one do I choose?
Apparently 9 was not good. Fate of the Furious, I don't think was
Tyrese
good.
Gibson. He's the nut.
Tyrese Gibson.
Yeah.
Right. Fun.
Yeah. Should we do Last of Us? It's kind of comic book related. There is a comic of The Last of Us, and it's doing very well in eBay sales. So I guess it's kind of comic.
Shocker.
Related. Yeah.
Let's talk about it quick.
Okay,
let's do it.
Let me just put the spoilers tag on.
Spoilers.
So the first 2 episodes were really good. They were
Really good.
pretty much the video game. The first like 2 hours of the video game.
Yep. Changed some stuff, did some stuff. I was all for it.
Didn't really change a lot though.
Not too much. And don't quote me because I only played the game once.
I too only played the game once when it first came out. So there are a number of things I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for episode 3, we had Nick Offerman and who's the other actor who had already won an Emmy for his role in White Lotus.
I forget his name already, but he was
Murray
amazing.
Barnett?
Yeah. Yes.
Murray Bartlett. He was also in Chippendales Hulu series this past month or whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so this is kind of the first big deviation they did from the game.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the backstory between Bill and Frank. Right. I didn't really remember either of them from the game. So it was like all new to me anyways. Was Murray Bartlett in Parks and Rec? Who was he in Parks and Rec? Oh, he was I almost have it. He's I don't remember. I kind of see him, but now I don't. Who's his character?
Am I just not seeing it here? Don't see it.
Huh. Maybe he's uncredited. Anyways,
so anyway, continue.
Yeah. So one of the, I think they had a day where they tossed him in the lake. Oh, it might have been like a cameo or something, but I don't like. Now you say that, I vaguely remember. Maybe I'm putting it in my own mind that I.
Oh, no, I don't think it was him. I don't think that was him.
You remember the scene
and
talking
it
about?
was it. Yeah, I know what episode that is. Anyway, continue.
Maybe one of the best hours of television, like in the last 20 years. That episode, like in terms of writing and acting and, doing the whole span of relationship that well in the limited amount of time they had. Like they could have done, just covering Bill and Frank could have been, a limited series in itself of them dealing with, right, the pandemic, the the clickers and the fungus and the cordyceps or whatever. But yeah, it was. I mean, they should definitely be nominated for an Emmy again this year. What did you think?
It was probably better than some of the movies I've seen in the last 13 months. So,
including Avatar.
No, close though.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't James Cameron good.
No, it wasn't. No, but it was definitely, I would say, pretty much top level as the rest of any of the, the top TV moments you can think of in the last 10 years or more.
Like that episode. I know we most video game adaptations get shit on.
Yeah.
But that episode sets the bar so high for anything else that comes after it in terms of an adaptation of a, like, there's enough in God of War Ragnarok that they are going to be, Amazon's doing that. Like, there's enough content and storyline like that, of like that kind of emotional weight to it.
Yeah.
That they could, like, if they don't pull that off with between Kratos and Atreus and Faye and Freya, like there's so much involved in that emotionally that if they don't nail it as well as they nailed this episode. Like, it's I don't know, maybe it'll go down as the greatest, not just the greatest adaptation of a video game IP, but a great TV show on its own. Like, it stands on its own, that it's greater than the content it adapted.
Yes. I would agree wholeheartedly. It was unreal. It was yeah, like I mean, I don't know if I would say 9.9 often, but it's pretty much there. And a lot of the early reviews, when the embargoes came up, said that episode 3 was probably the best episode of the series. So
now, did the reviewers get to see the whole thing, or just the first 3 episodes?
I think they saw either 6 episodes or the whole thing. I can't remember.
How many episodes is it? 8 or 10?
I think it's 9.
9.
I might be wrong.
Yeah. So I've also seen universally, it's been the internet's the internet. Some people are like, this is boring and not entertaining, and I didn't want to see this kind of thing. But for the most part, this episode seemed to be universally well liked, despite its which shouldn't be controversial content at all, but can be controversial to some people. Yeah, I also think that the showrunner Craig Mazin, who did Chernobyl, he might be the only one that could have done it, because he pitched this story to flesh it out, and it did make changes to the characters somewhat.
So good.
But yeah, I should go back and watch Chernobyl again now.
And I will say Chernobyl is amazing. A little bit of a slow burn, but damn.
Okay, so Ant-Man in through 2.5 weeks.
Can't
Mando
wait.
season 3 in a month.
Yes.
March.
Oh my
the
god.
Bad Batch is going on right now, which has been pretty good.
I got I got so much to catch up on.
Yeah, what are we watching right now? We're watching the last season of Killing Eve and the first season of Your Honor.
So many to catch up on.
Yeah, what else? We're watching Mayor of Kingstown season 2, which is airing now on Sundays. I think 1923 comes back this week or next week.
Wow, holy moly!
Because they took a month off after Christmas.
Damn.
Yeah, lots of stuff to catch up on. Oh, also, forgot to mention, we are running. If I can find, I'll show it later. But USL Comics is running a contest for the month of February. If you sign up on the website for any sort of account, whether it's a buyer account or a seller account, you'll be entered to win a Thor number 6 CGC 9.8 signed by Donny Cates himself. So we are giving that away. I forgot to bring it out, but I'll show it in next week. So, but it's for the whole month of February. So if you happen to sign up or tell people to sign up, they could be entered to win the slab that I will send you. Okay, so we'll be back next week. Yes, and thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. Like and subscribe, I guess, for all that stupid stuff. But yeah, thanks. Have a good night.
Later.